Welcome to the Madison Motor Podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2025. College basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer on this day. Season 14 of The Masked Singer, a show we have not covered on the podcast in a long time. News and notes and best bet. College basketball is first. We'll go over the results from yesterday. Look ahead to today. Very busy today, by the way, in college hoops. So yesterday, Ohio over UMass, 86-83. Number 2, Michigan over Penn State, 74-72. Number 6, Duke over number 20, Louisville, 84-73. Florida over number 18, Georgia, 92-77. West Virginia over Cincinnati, 62-60. St. John's over Butler, 84-70. Syracuse over Georgia Tech, 82-72. Miami of Ohio over Western Michigan, 87-76. Eastern Michigan over Ball State, 74-52. Akron over Central Michigan, 82-69. Kent State over Bowling Green, 96-93. South Carolina over LSU, 78-68. Minnesota over number 19, Iowa, 70-67. Oklahoma State over number 25, UCF, 87-76. Dayton over George Washington, 79-72. DePaul over Georgetown, 56-50. Toledo over Northern Illinois, 75-61. SIU Edwardsville over Lindenwood, 66-62. Number 7, Houston over number 14, Texas Tech, 69-65. Number 21, Tennessee over Texas, 85-71. Number 22, Kansas over TCU, 104-100 in OT. New Mexico over Colorado State, 80-70. Wisconsin over UCLA, 80-72. NC State over BC, 79-71. Utah State over Air Force, 99-62. Texas A&M over Auburn, 90-88. Wyoming over UNLV, 98-66. Fresno State over San Jose State, 70-55. San Diego State over Nevada, 73-68. All right. And now tonight's games, 5 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Furman, Chattanooga. My line is Chattanooga 2.2, and it is Furman 2.5, total 146.5. I'll take Chattanooga plus 2.5 and plus 122 to win the game straight up. 6 o'clock, Holy Cross, Lehigh. My line's Lehigh 2.7, it's 1.5, 136.5. I'll take the over. Loyola, Maryland, Army. My line's Army 0.7. 3.5, 145.5. I'll take Loyola plus 3.5 and plus 168 to win. UNC Greensboro, Wofford. I have Wofford by 4. 6.5, 152.5. I'll take Greensboro to cover. 6:30, Big Ten Network, Indiana, Maryland. I have Indiana 3.7. And it is 8.5, 146.5. I'll take Maryland plus 8.5 to cover. Longwood, UNC, Asheville. There's a lot of 6:30 games today. I have Asheville by 3. It's 2.5, 148.5. I'll take the over. Charleston Southern, Winthrop. I have Winthrop 3.5. And it's 6.5 and 165.5. I'll take Charleston Southern. And the points, 7 o'clock on Peacock and NBCSN. Number 4, UConn and Providence. My line is UConn 4.5. It's 9.5, 151.5. I'll take Providence to cover. Belmont, Northern Iowa. I have Northern Iowa 4.3. And it is, let's see, 2.5, 135.5. I'll take the over. American Colgate. I have Colgate 4.8. And it is 4.5, 148.5. I'll take another over. St. Louis, VCU. CBS Sports Network. I have VCU 2.3. And it's 1.5, 171.5. That's way too high. Give me the under. Although St. Louis might have the best guy on the court in the game. Actually, no, I'll go take it a step further. They do have the best guy on the court in the game, Robbie Villa. Richmond, St. Bonaventure. I have St. Bonaventure 4.3, 5.5, 150.5. That one I'll go over. LaSalle, Rhode Island. I have Rhode Island 7.7. And it's 10.5, 134.5. I'll lay. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'll take LaSalle plus the points. I don't like betting LaSalle, but I'm going to do it here. or I would here. George Mason Fordham. I have George Mason 5.7, and it is 4.5, 132.5. I'll take the over. Duquesne St. Joe's. I have St. Joe's by 5. It's Duquesne 2.5, total 149.5. I can't believe Duquesne's favor. Give me St. Joe's plus 2.5 and plus 126 to win. East Carolina Temple. I have Temple 3.7. And it's 7.5 and 145. And I'll take East CU in the points. BU Lafayette. I have BU 1.2. And it is Lafayette 1.5, total 142.5. I'll take BU plus 1.5 and minus 104 to win. Presbyterian Radford. I have Radford 5.5 at 6.5, 147.5. I'll take the over. Gardner Webb High Point. I have High Point by 19. It's 26.5 and 163.5. I'll take Gardner Webb, the cover. Xavier Marquette Fox Sports 1. I have Marquette 1.5. I can't believe I have Marquette favored. They're winless in conference play. And it is 4.5 and 159.5. Wow. I'm actually on the other side of this. It's even better. I like Xavier plus 4.5. On ESPNU Miami Wake, I have Pick'em. And it is Wake 1.5 to 156.5. Can I cheat and take the Wake money line? Yeah, because I think the total's right there too. But yeah, Wake on the money line's I think the best play if it's that cheap. So Wake money line, the rare instance. ACC Network, Stanford, Virginia Tech. My line is Virginia Tech 5.5. And it is 3.5 and 149.5. I'll lay the points with Virginia Tech. Bucknell Navy. I have Navy 11.8. 7.5 and 136.5. I'll lay it with Navy. Western Carolina Samford. I have Samford 7.7. 7.5, 154.5. I'll take the over. Citadel Mercer. I have Mercer by 8. And it is 15.5, 147.5. I'll take the Citadel and the points. VMI East Tennessee State. I have ETSU 4.7. 16.5, 146.5. I'll take VMI in the points. Marshall JMU. I have Pick'em. And it is 1.5 and 154.5. This is not an instance where I'm just going to take the money line because it's not cheap. Over, but I don't feel good about it. ESPN2 Missouri, Kentucky. I have Kentucky by 3. It's 12.5, 151.5. I love Missouri getting the points. I think Kentucky's overrated. SEC Network, Oklahoma, Mississippi State. I have Mississippi State 5.7. And it is 1.5 and 158.5. I'm going to lay the 1.5 of Mississippi State. Missouri State, Kennesaw State. I have Kennesaw by 6. 5.5, 151.5. I'll take the over. FIU and Jacksonville State. I have Jacksonville State 6.3. 1.5, 148.5. I'll lay with Jacksonville State. Purdue, Fort Wayne, Youngstown State 7.15. I have Youngstown State by 4. And it is 5.5, 144.5. I'll go over. 7:30 Rice, Wichita State. I have Wichita by 11. It's 12.5, 149.5. That's another over. FAU, UAB. I have UAB 4.3. 4.5, 161.5. I'll go under. That's high. On Peacock, Creighton, Villanova. Villanova 3.2. And it is 5.5 and 143.5. I'll take Creighton the cover. 8 o'clock on Peacock, number 3, Iowa State, Baylor. I have Iowa State by 2, and it's 4.5 and 155.5. I'll take Baylor plus 4 and a hook. Illinois State, Valpo. I have Illinois State 9.5. It's 7.5 and 138.5. I'll lay the points with Illinois State. on the road. I don't like going on the road, but here we are. Southern Illinois UIC. I have Southern Illinois 2.3. 2.5 won for 8.5. I'll take the over. Murray State Evansville. I have Murray State 7.7. 7.5 and 153.5. I'll go over. South Florida, North Texas. I have South Florida by 1. 4.5, 144.5. I'll take North Texas to cover. Charlotte, UTSA. I have UTSA 5.3. Charlotte is favored by 5.5. Total's 141.5. Did I do that correctly? That is so weird. How is Charlotte... Wait. That is so strange. There must be some major injuries on UTSA, because that is a crazy line. Give me UTSA plus 5.5 and plus 186 to win the game straight up. Troy, Arkansas State. I have Arkansas State by 3. It's 3.5, 160.5. I'll take the under. 8:30 Big Ten Network. Washington, number 5 Purdue. I have Purdue by 15. 17.5 and 151.5. I'll take Washington to cover. 9 o'clock Fox Sports 1. Kansas State and number 1 Arizona. I have Zona 5.7. And it is 17.5 and 171.5. I'll take Kansas State to cover. That is a big number. Peacock and NBCSN, Arizona State, and number 9 BYU. If BYU 13.7, 17.5, 166.5. I'll take Bobby Hurley's team to cover. ESPN 2, number 13 Alabama, number 11 Vandy. I have Pick'em. And Vandy is a 3.5 point favorite. The undefeated Vandy team getting home respect. And the total's 180.5. I'll take the proven team getting 3 in the hook on the road. That's Alabama. SEC Network, number 15 Arkansas Ole Miss. I have Arkansas 2.7. And it is 3.5, 150.5. I'll go over. ACC Network, Cal, number 23 Virginia. Virginia 8.7 is 13.5, 147.5. I'll take Cal to cover. Number 24 SMU and Clemson, ESPN U. I have Clemson by 2. 3.5, 147.5. I'll take the over. Drake Bradley, I have Bradley by 9. And it's 6.5 and 144.5. I'll lay the points with Bradley. Davidson, Loyola Chicago, CBS Sports Network. I have Loyola Chicago 1.3. And it is 1.5, 135.5. I'll go over. That's an easy over. Utah, Colorado. I have Colorado 4.3. And it is 9.5 and 163.5. That's 2. I give me Utah to cover. South Dakota, St. Thomas. I have St. Thomas 9.7. It's 14.5 and 162.5. I'll take South Dakota to cover. And last but not least, 11 o'clock p.m. Fox Sports 1. Grand Canyon, Boise State. My line is Boise State by 2. And it's a whopping 8.5. Totals 137.5. I'll take Grand Canyon to cover 8.5. That is way too many points for Boise to be giving. Like I said, I think Boise's overrated. They lost at home to a non-D1 school. I'll keep saying that to the grave. Okay, NBA. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight. Tonight's a busy window. Last night was there were some games. Not a lot though. Cavs over the Pacers 120-116. Wizards over the Magic 120-112. So best bet improves to 2-0 on the year. Grizzlies over the Spurs 106-105. T-Wolves over the Heat 122-94. Lakers over the Pelicans 111-103. And the Mavs over the Kings 198. All right, 12 games tonight. 7 o'clock, Raptors Hornets. My line is the Toronto Raptors by 1.5 points. And it is exactly that. Totals 230.5. I'll take the over. I promise I'll be doing totals again. Bulls Pistons. I have Pistons 10.875. It's 9.5, 228.5. Again, another over. Wizards Sixers. My line is Philadelphia 14.375. Let's see how they rebound after that terrible loss to the underman Denver team. 15, 236.5. Another over. On ESPN, Nuggets Celtics. This would have been an awesome game if Denver had everybody, but they don't. My line is Celtics 11 3/4, and it's 9 231. I'll lay the 9 with the Celtics. I just don't see how they win this by double digits. Next up, 7:30 Pelicans Hawks. My line is the Hawks 7 3/4, 10.5, 245.5. I'll take New Orleans to cover. That's too high. Magic Nets, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I have the Brooklyn Nets as a 2-point favorite. Magic still have too many injuries. I know the Magic are probably the same number as they were in Washington last night, where they lost outright. Oh, they're only a 2-point favorite. They delegated them. Okay, there's a market correction. Total 220.5. I'll still take Brooklyn +2 and +114, and no, Brooklyn won't be best bet. Clippers Knicks from MSG. See if the Knicks can stop their losing streak. I have Knicks by 5.875. It's 4.5, 222.5. I'll take the over. I think Knicks would be a good money line leg to put with some other people, and I think that line is just about correct to what FanDuel has it. A lot of these lines I was pretty close on. Even Magic Nets I wasn't too far off. 8 o'clock Suns Grizzlies. I have the Grizzlies 1.5. It's Suns 4.5. Total 232.5. I'll take Memphis +4.5 and +168 outright. Still a lot of injuries on Phoenix. And plus I still think that this Phoenix team's overrated. Jazz Thunder. Minus the Thunder 16.25. Let's see if they bounce back after that bad loss to Charlotte. 18, 240.5. Let's go under. 9:30 ESPN Lakers Spurs. Decent game. Would have been better with Austin Reeves in it. Wemby's back tonight, which is good for San Antonio, who I have 7 3/4, and it's 8, 235.5. I'll take the over because the Lakers are allergic to defense. 10 o'clock the Bucks and the Warriors. My line is Golden State 4.25, so 4.25, and it's 6 and 229.5. I'll go over. And last but not least, Rockets Blazers. I have Rockets 3.625, and it's 6.5 and 221.5. I'll take the Blazers getting 6.5. Okay, now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight, which is a smaller window, and it's a TNT night too. Sabres over the Canucks 5-3. Lightning over the Avs 4-2. Flyers over the Ducks 5-2. Canes over the Stars 6-3. Islanders spanked the Devils 9-0, which caused guest of the show Doug Saravo to go on a little bit of a social media rampage. And several other guests of the show from the past have overreacted and went a little crazy. Leafs over the Panthers 4-1. Golden Knights over the Jets 4-3 in OT. And even on the flip side, back to the Devils Islanders game. Past guest of the show, James Selliston, big Islanders guy, he's probably fired up about this and going crazy in the positive direction. Yeah, so Oilers over the Predators 6-2. I said Knights over the Jets 4-3 OT. Sharks over the Jackets 5-2. Kraken over the Bruins 7-4. So a lot of underdogs won outright yesterday, like I said. So, yeah, I wish I did do a little bit of a round robin and then threw the Wizards in there too. Like I said I was going to do, but I didn't. Oh well. At least I bet the Wizards and they won. 7 o'clock TNT Stars Capitals. Good game. This is probably the Kenny Albert game. Caps -120, Stars even money over under 6.5. Overs +106, unders -130. Stars plus 1.5 is minus 245. Caps minus 1.5 is plus 194. That's a little bit of a tough one. Getting the Stars at even money is always a good thing. So I'm going to just do it again. 7:30, Flames, Habs. Habs minus 50, Flames plus 125, over under 6.5. Overs plus 110, unders minus 134. Flames plus 1.5 is minus 205. Habs minus 1.5 plus 164. This pick can bite me in the ass, but I'm going to do it. Alternate under 5.5 plus 120. 9:30, TNT, Blues, Blackhawks. Blues minus 118, Blackhawks minus 102, over under 5.5. Overs plus 104, unders minus 128. Blues minus 1.5 plus 210, Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 265. I'm going with Chicago at home, minus 102. Senators, Mammoth. Mammoth minus 118, Sens minus 102, over under 6.5. Overs plus 114, unders minus 140. Sens plus 1.5 is minus 260. Mammoth minus 1.5 is plus 205. I'm going to go with the Mammoth at minus 118. Then at 10:30, Sharks, Kings. Kings minus 260, Sharks plus 210, over under 6.5. Overs plus 106, unders minus 130. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 118. Kings minus 1.5 is minus 104. Oh my god, I love the Sharks. Plus, for the podcast, I'm going to give out plus 1.5 and minus 118. But I actually do think they're live at plus 210. But yeah, I love the plus 1.5 and minus 118. Like, this is a market correction and favoritism towards the team that plays in Los Angeles. And Vegas thinking, no, this is the same old Sharks. Okay, now we'll move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today and then a little bit tomorrow. All right, so yesterday's soccer, EPL, Nottingham over West Ham 2-1. Spanish Copa del Rey, Real Valenciano over Granada 3-1. Serie A, Como over Pisa 3-0. AS Roma over Lecce 2-0. Juventus over Sassuolo 3-0. Cup of Nations, Algeria over Congo DR 1-0, additional extra time. Ivory Coast over Burkina Faso 3-0. Scottish Premiership, Rangers over Aberdeen 2-0. And Livingston St. Mirren was postponed. The EPL, all those games are going on now. AFC, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Brentford, Sunderland, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Everton, Wolverhampton, Fulham, Chelsea, Man City, Brighton and Hove, Burnley, Man United, Newcastle, Leeds. Spanish Supercopa, Barcelona over Athletic Club 5-0. Serie A, Napoli, Verona 2-2 draw. Atalanta over Bologna 2-0. Going on now, Lazio, Fiorentina, Parma, Inter, and Torino, Udinese. All right, we'll pick some Serie A, actually. But there's Pro League tomorrow, too. In the morning, 9:55, Al Hilal, Al Hazim. 12:30, Al Najma, Al Etifak, and Al Nasser, and Al Qadiash. And then 12:30 Serie A tomorrow is Cremonese and Cagliari. Cremonese plus 145, Cagliari plus 220, and the draws 2-1. I'm going Cremonese plus 145. 245 AIC Milan and Genoa. Milan minus 240, Genoa plus 650, draw plus 340. We're going to do over 2.5 goals at even money. Supercopa, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. I'm just going to pull up the odds really quickly. Real Madrid plus 130, Atletico Madrid plus 190, draw plus 240. I'm going with Real Madrid at plus 130. And then French Trophy des Champions, PSG and Marseille. PSG minus 190, Marseille plus 430, the draws plus 330. Do PSG and Real Madrid tomorrow in a parlay would be fun. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals, though, for the pick for the show, though, at plus 130. And then EPL tomorrow too. Arsenal Liverpool. Arsenal minus 185, Liverpool plus 490, draws plus 330. For this one, we're going to do under 2.5 goals at plus 108. So there you have it for the soccer. Now move on to on this day, which brings us to today, January 7th. So this is brought to you by All Sports News. So 2019, Clemson wins college football playoffs. That was the Trevor Lawrence year. 2013, Alabama wins BCS championship. So that was when they killed Notre Dame. 2021, Mets acquire Francisco Lindor. I mean, he's been a good Met for the most part, but he's just overpaid. 2019, Packers hire Matt LaFleur. He's turned out to be a good coach. 2020, Panthers hire Matt Rule. Disaster. 2020, Giants hire Joe Judge. Epic disaster. I mean, so is Matt Rule, by the way. 2024, Dodgers signed Teoscar Hernandez. 2014, Cavaliers acquire Luol Deng. I remember when that trade happened, y'all thought that there was a desperation trade for Cleveland, and then Chicago was blowing it up a little bit, and then they ended up turning their season around, Chicago. 2024, the Falcons fire Arthur Smith. 2021, Deshaun Watson extremely unhappy with Texans. And then they traded him, I think, the next year. 2025, Raiders fire Antonio Pierce. And 2018, Packers hire Brian Gutekunst as GM, who's done a nice job there with the Packers. So there you have it for on this day. Now we'll talk about the Masked Singer returning tonight on TVs for the first time in probably 9 months. They did not have a season in the fall. They decided to do it in the winter instead. I think because they were losing the ratings battle to Survivor. So I think that's why they did that. And just to try other things in that time spot. So I made a list of contestant predictions for this season. And I got to admit, I really didn't watch about a season and a half of Masked Singer. And I'm on 13 as we speak. So if anybody on this list is on season 13, I apologize in advance. I don't know how many contestants are on this season. I usually like to put 20 names out. I know on 13 there's 15 contestants, which is good enough. Some years they had 16, some years they had 18. I've seen 20 on there, but the reason why there would be 20 sometimes there'd be like doubles, you know what I mean, or groups, like we saw in season 12 with Boys to Men. So here's my list for Masked Singer season 14. Paula Abdul, she really hasn't been around in a while. That'll get people excited. Tom Brady. There you go. Lead analyst on Fox, works with the Raiders. You all know him. The greatest quarterback of all time. The greatest NFL player of all time. Greatest athlete of my lifetime. The GOAT. Mike Breen, lead voice of the NBA on ABC and ESPN and the voice of the New York Knicks. We just haven't had a broadcaster on since Joe Buck. I mean, Brady's also a broadcaster right now, but I'm saying like a play-by-play announcer. Neve Campbell, actress. Michael Damian, singer. Ashanti Douglas, a.k.a. Ashanti. Sammy Giancola from Jersey Shore. Morgan Fairchild, actress. And reality TV. Steve Harvey. Tom Kenny, who's the voice of SpongeBob from the 2004 SpongeBob movie. He got the new SpongeBob movie. Maybe he is the voice in the new SpongeBob movie. But there is a new SpongeBob movie out. Yeah, Tom Kenny does play SpongeBob in both. Okay. Yeah, the voice of SpongeBob. That'd be pretty cool. Joey King, who Ken Jeong guest in season 12. And I think she'd be fun to be on the show. Sway Lee, rapper. Donna Lewis, singer. I Love You Always Forever. Shirley MacLaine from the Rat Pack. Steve Martin. We all know Steve Martin. Brian McKnight. I think we're finally going to be seeing people from The Masked Dancer on here. We just saw, or we did see Oscar De La Hoya on season 13. So, he was on that, and so was Brian McKnight. And Masked Dancer was a long time ago. That was 5 years ago. No, I think it was more than 5 years ago. I think it was before COVID, The Masked Dancer. Danica Patrick. That would be a lot of fun. Robert Pattinson from Twilight. Bernie Sanders. We have not had a Democratic politician on The Masked Singer yet. We had Sarah Palin on both The Masked Singer and We Are Family. So why not go the other way and have a Democrat on? That would be even it out a little bit, because I know Fox is perceived to be a right-wing news and whatnot. That'd be pretty interesting to see if they would get someone from the opposite side. And they had Rudy Giuliani on The Masked Singer. The two panelists walked off stage. And Ashley Simpson, who has been MIA for a while. Alright, so there are my season 14 guesses. We'll see if any of them are on. Be funny if Mike Breen was on. That would just make me so happy as a Knicks fan. But you never know. Just the name that I want to toss. Okay, news and notes. The biggest news of yesterday happened after I recorded the podcast, and that is that the Baltimore Ravens have fired head coach John Harbaugh. A lot of people are surprised and shocked. I'm not. This has been rumored for a while. I was the one on the show saying that the loser of Pittsburgh-Baltimore's coach would be fired. And here we are. 18 years with the Ravens, one Super Bowl, several AFC Championship games. But yeah, I think it's time for the Ravens to go in a different direction, and it's time for Harbaugh to try something else, or go to a different team and coach. We'll see who Baltimore replaces him with. I know a lot of people are killing him. It's like, you shouldn't have let Mike McDonald walk out the door. Look what he's doing with the Seahawks. That's a good point. They let him walk out the door to go coach Seattle, and he's been fantastic there. And a lot of people are linking Cliff Kingsbury, who recently resigned as the offensive coordinator from the Commanders, to them, and the possible tie with Lamar Jackson. And on the flip side, where does John Harbaugh go? I think he's going to end up as the next head coach of the New York Giants. I've been clamoring on the show that AFC North loser was going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants, and that's who they should hire. Number 1, Stetson. I know there's a lot of people that want Kevin Stefanski because of his offensive background. But the case against Stefanski is that I know the Browns are the Browns and they're a shit show. This one of the 3 worst organizations in football, other than the Jets and the Raiders. And they just continually lose year after year after year. And for all Stefanski's done, John Harbaugh is just a better football coach. This is nothing against Stefanski. John Harbaugh is a special football coach. Go get him. And that's not to say that I won't be happy if the Giants coach is Kevin Stefanski. But the Giants should be all in on John Harbaugh, and they are all in on John Harbaugh. And that's who I think is going to be the next coach. And I think that he's got to nail the offensive coordinator hire so he could help develop Jackson Dart and nail the DC hire as well. So John Harbaugh has a ready-made job for him in East Rutherford that's waiting for him. But I know there's other openings. You know Atlanta's going to try heaven and earth. You know Tennessee might try, even the Raiders. But the Giants are the most logical landing spot for John Harbaugh, and it's not close. All right, Harbaugh related. Mario Cristobal blames adults for a college football transfer controversy, so he rips the portal. LSU had an offer to Brendan Sorsby, $3.5 million NIL deal through multimedia partner. Mark Cuban is helping out Indiana, which is his alma mater, in the portal. Ohio State running back James Peoples announces transfer to Penn State. UNLV quarterback Anthony Colandendra, the Mountain West Player of the Year, going to Nebraska. Desmond Williams entering the portal with do not contact tag after signing deal to return to Huskies last week. That's very odd. Johanski Noel let go from the Orioles after they claimed Marco Luciano on waivers, so they DFA Big Christmas. I don't know what the big deal about Big Christmas is. Like, he hit one freaking great home run off of Luke Weaver in the playoffs, and everybody's obsessed with him. Like, he's not some special player. He's just a guy that can run into one every once in a while. That's why he keeps getting DFA'd. Because he strikes out all the time. The Mets are interested in both rentals and pitchers with club control as they are trying to improve their rotation. Trae Young wants a Wizards trade. That does make sense. And then the Kings are not interested, which is funny as hell. The Wolves and the Nets are possible destinations as well. The Bulls signed Yuki Kawamura on a 2-way deal as he goes back there. Kevin Love blasts the apron rules as he says the league sanctions are fucking with the game. And then speaking of the Ravens, they start their coaching search. Clint Kubiak and Dolphins Anthony Weaver among interview requests. What's the Anthony Weaver obsession? They're DC of the Dolphins. That unit wasn't anything good. Clint Kubiak, I can see. Obviously, on Mike McDonald's staff, who was on John Harbaugh's staff, so that's a little bit of a tie there. But the irony is that the Dolphins are open to new head coaches as they've been pushing to hear GM candidates' thoughts on potential change. Wow. So Mike McDaniel might get fired after all. There's a Commanders disconnect report as somebody says there's a lot of shit going on there. Yeah, there is a lot of shit going on there. That franchise is never going to freaking change. There's always dysfunction. They're the worst run organization in the division. Everyone's going to say it's the Giants, but it's really always been Washington from a dysfunction standpoint. Matt Nagy gets 2 more interviews with the Raiders and the Cardinals. Oh my God. Why does everyone love Matt Nagy? He was a failure at the Bears. The Dolphins are in touch on John Harbaugh as offensive coordinator Todd Monken could join him there. And then things between Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken had grown awkward. And then the Titans are eyeing Jason Garrett. Oh my God. Like, I'm laughing at all these teams that are throwing like these retreads and proven failed coaches. And maybe they just know that John Harbaugh's going to the Giants. Like, if I'm some of these other teams, it's not a guarantee that John Harbaugh's going to the Giants. I mean, I hope it's a guarantee that John Harbaugh's going to the Giants, but these other teams gotta be, like, come on. Like, Matt Nagy, give me a break. Glad my team ain't hiring Matt Nagy. So Tiger Woods celebrated his 50th birthday with the Masters themed menu. So there was a wild ending to Texas A&M Auburn as the Tigers' desperation heave at the buzzer ruled no good. And then Auburn fans were throwing trash on the court, which was not good. Caleb Downs is entering the draft. He's one of the best prospects. This one I don't agree with. Ty Simpson is going to the draft. I don't love that at all. I think he should go back to school. Carnell Tate is entering the draft. He's awesome. Charlie Weiss Jr. coaching college football playoff as LSU is allowing him and the running back coach Kevin Smith to stick with the Rebels in the semis against Miami. And Jeremiah Smith had a recent post with the Tate news. We got word on Igor Shesterkin from the Rangers. He's going to the IR. But Emily Kaplan of ESPN said that Shesterkin avoided the worst case scenario. So that is good news for the Rangers. But bad news is that Adam Fox to long-term IR for lower body injury as well. That's not great. But Adam Fox has been hurt all year. And if he was healthy all year, Rangers are in what? Right there at the Islanders probably, right? They're not near Carolina, but they're not in first, but maybe they're right there at the Islanders. They're better than the Devils. They probably are better than the Devils right now. Devils just lost 9-0. Rangers didn't lose 9-0 all year. Executive says that Max Crosby is done in Vegas. His NFL executive says that he's on his way out filing injury controversy. Wow. So they benched him because they wanted to get Fernando Mendoza. They wanted to tank for the draft. They obviously tanked that Giants game. They won the Chiefs game because they probably would have tanked the Chiefs game too if the Giants didn't beat Dallas. But that's crazy. And now we got a great player on the trade block. Inside Harbaugh's firing is that his refusal to move on from Todd Monken was key pressure point. And like I said, Cliff Kingsbury could be that's an ideal landing spot, Baltimore, for him. Whether it's a coach or OC. Speaking of an OC firing, John Morton, 1 year in Detroit, fired. Not surprised. They were not the same without Ben Johnson. And then Steve Piscotty, the owner of the Marlins, or not, the Ravens. Marlins came ahead because something just came down with them. I'll get to it in a second. He detailed an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with Harbaugh. And now it's official. The Cubs acquire Edward Cabrera from the Marlins for top prospect Owen Casey and 2 other prospects. It's a big deal for the Cubs. I think they have to be the team to beat in that division. I know a lot of people wanted the Yankees to go and get him, but they don't need pitching. They don't need starting pitching. That's just a narrative-based thing that is just out there. But no, they need offense and they need relief pitching, not starting pitching. The starting pitching, I think, is the best thing about their team. But you're saying, well, Cole and Rodon are out until June. Yeah, but they'll be back. That's why you get depth starting pitching, not a guy like Edward Cabrera that in the past the Yankees miss on those guys. James Paxton was a miss. Sonny Gray was a miss. Jamison Taillon was a miss. So I think it's a good trade for the Cubs. I think the Cubs are a good fit for Cabrera. I mean, there is pressure there, obviously. But I just think this is a better fit for Cabrera than the Yankees would have been. That's all. But good trade for the Cubs, nevertheless. Chris Boswell got caught on camera consoling Tyler Loop after the missed field goal. And then John Harbaugh had the message to the fan base that was posted. LeBron may play back-to-backs. Lakers plan to have him play Tuesday or yesterday and today, but take time. Keegan Murray out 3 to 4 weeks with a left ankle sprain. Tyler Herro came back against the Timberwolves. Nikola Jokic is targeting a January return, looking to play by the end of the month. Wow. And then Wemby came back last night against the Grizzlies. All right, so there you have it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. Best bet's not as easy as it was the past 2 days, but something did come up at the end of the hockey that I like. It's a risky pick, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Sharks plus the 1.5. Oh, it went to minus 120. I just think a lot of people are harping on it, but I'm going to do it. Sharks plus 1.5 against the Kings. I'm going to do it. At minus 120, even though it went up, but I'm still going to do it. All right, so there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look at everything tomorrow, too. And I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.